Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final fifth round of E-BaTCC. Unfortunately, we were not able, due to technical reasons, to show you the first two races of BMWs. But I can tell you that points leader Jan Nimt won race one for a fifth time in a succession, and it gave him the championship as well. And Tauras Kudinavicius was second overall, and Risto Kapet saved third overall. But here you see the Pro Class qualification. There is left less than 2 minutes left, and points leader Tuomas Halonen is leading in front of Richard Trubetskis. You can see now Halonen has managed to increase the gap to Trubetskis substantially. Aurimas Mistautas is third, Ovidius Latosa fourth, Karlis Ozolinš and Romet Reisin fifth and sixth, and it's very important for them because Reisin and Ozolinš are currently second and third and separated by only 11 points. So it will be a direct battle between them for overall second and overall third. Tuomas Halonen in car number 115. Today we are back in Cupra Leon competitions. Last time at Kaunas, drivers had BMW M235s under them. But let's do a lap with Halonen. Now it's turn one, very fast right-hander, which is followed by a very sharp turn two right-hander, which is called elbow. Then turn three is this slight left-hander, and turn four is where to the left there is ring of skill, but this is ring of speed. And now Halonen is approaching turn five, which is the most crucial on this track over a tunnel, and if you get good exit here, then you can gain a lot of time down this straight towards hospital turn, 90-degree right-hander. Once a very tricky one, and you saw that Halonen went a little bit wide. Now again next straight, and Halonen seems to be abandoned his lap because it was not fast enough, but with Richard Trubetskis he's approaching film studio turn. It's long right-hander, and then another right-hander without name, and then Motor Museum, another crucial part of the track. You must be fast out of here, and entering the final section, Sandhill right-hander and Sailor left-hander, which leads onto the main straight. Oh, took a little bit too much curb on the inside, but stays on the track. And can Trubetskis beat Halonen? No, he couldn't, and time is over. So Tuomas Halonen has taken fourth pole position during 5 rounds, and will start from front row together with Richard Trubetskis. Aurimas Mistautas and Karlis Ozolinš will form row 2. Ovidius Latosa and Jānis Hāns will stand in third row, and it also means that Romet Reisin is down in row 4 with Nikolai Žuravļov. But where is Karlis Ozolinš? Yeah, Ozolinš is fourth. So Ozolinš is crucially 3 places in front of Reisin, and that can give him very important advantage. Of course, we will have 2 races. First race will be started in the order of qualification, but race 2 will, the starting order is based on race 1 finish order, except top 10 will be reversed. So qualification is now over. We have 15 drivers today, and I have to say that Halonen, Reisin and Ozolinš will be the top 3 as it stands, obviously, because a 4th driver in point standings, Mattis Mežaks, is now 45 points behind Ozolinš. And where is he starting? He is starting dead last. So it will be very difficult for him to catch Osolins on the other side. There are several drivers only few points behind him. Aurimas Mistautas is only 4 points behind him. Mantas Jasiulavicius only 11 points behind, and Kaspars Rudmies is 25. So we will see. Race will be over 20 minutes as usual. And after some 15 seconds, cars will stand on the grid and they will have another countdown to the start. Bikernieki is well known. We had first round at Bikernieki as well, but then we used a long ring or long loop, more than 5 kilometers. Today we will use the so-called ring of speed. It is 3.66 kilometers. How many turns? I can't tell you because there is no official count, but when I count it on my own, I can get any number between 11 and 16, so you can decide. But more or less, I would say that 11 turns, 11 major turns, which you can see and feel. Some turns are driven on full throttle, even you have to turn a steering wheel a little bit, but they are more or less taken as straight. So Halonen on pole position, Shubetskis in second, and you can see two cars with exactly the same livery, with exactly the same number, 32. There can be some confusion. Osolins is number 88, and so on. That violet car is Janis Hans. And Mattis Mesaks, currently fourth in point standings, is standing in the final starting position on the grid. So, a few seconds still remaining to the starter race 1. How many laps? There will be some 15, I would guess. So, start lights will be on in few seconds. There are 6 of them, not 5 as usual. And here they go. And the race has started. So Halonen took a good start, but Shubetskis was good as well. Halonen leads into turn 1. The main thing is go through turns 1 and 2 in one piece. Shubetskis is already on the inside of Halonen. Can he take the lead? And it seems yes. Richard Shubetskis has taken the lead from Tuomas Halonen, and Mesaks is one of those who went paukštis. Seems to be another who crashed. Osolins is already third, whereas Raisin sixth, so he has also gained some positions, but lost another one. And this is Osolins now attacking Halonen. Of course, Halonen must keep it clean and tidy, just to be clear, not to be involved in other people's crashes. But of course, he wants to win the race, there is no doubt about it. But as it stands, both Shubetskis and Osolins are in front of him, and Mistautas just a few meters behind. And Shubetskis, as it looks, is has managed to simply drive away from pursuers, the following group. So Raisin and Hans battling for 7th and 8th, but this is leader Shubetskis. Actually, he was the winner of round 4, and here is Hans, who went off. So a lot of action during those first laps already. That wasn't Hans. Simply two cars, and this was Halonen who went off over the bridge and crashes with several cars. So Halonen, even if he can continue, he will be out of top 10 as it stands, and that was, yes, it was Janis Hans whom he crashed, and here is racing now, racing Latosa. Latosa and Hans has both violet cars, and it seems that racing just managed to jump Latosa. Yes, he managed. He is now fifth, with Ozolinj already in second, and Uldis Timaks in that white car is in the same group. Actually, racing has put some free air between himself and Latosa, and Timaks now tries to attack Latosa, but Latosa covers the outside into turn one, and Jasiljavicius is also closing in from behind. And Karlis Kirmanis, another car with exactly the same livery and exactly the same number, is in front of him. That was Nikolai Zhuravlyov. They were debuting positions 9 and 10. Zhuravlyov in front, Kirmanis behind him. But those are leaders. And Ozolinj has more or less caught Shubetskis already. Just 1 second between them. Mishtautas in third, is in the same group. Then there is 3 seconds of free track, but this is Skirman is now in front of Zhuravlyov. Zapaustis and Halonen in black cars who were involved in crashes, and Mezhaks even behind them. And Hans is shown in P14. So really bad start for our points leader. But of course, even if he finishes in 14th, then he will earn 11 points, and it will mean more or less that he will be out of reach for both Raisin and Ozolinj, even if Ozolinj, who is now in second, manages to win. But let's see, it's still 15 minutes to go. Raisin is now fourth, in front of Rudmiesis and Latosa, with Jasiljavicius and Timaks just a few seconds behind. But Raisin has been certainly the fastest in this group. Is he able to catch top 3? No, I don't think so. But of course, if those 3 in front start to battle with each other, then everything can happen. And Hans and Alonen, they are both already lapped by the leaders. So there is a little confusion. But this is Latosa, and Rudmies is in front of him. And Raisin in front of that group, but Raisin went too far wide into turn 2. Fortunately for him, Rudmiesis wasn't on the ideal racing line as well. And this is battle for the lead, and Richard Shubetskis is still the leader, but Ozolinj is now, Karlis Ozolinj is attacking him almost into every corner. Film studio is not usually the place where you try to overtake your rival, but we could see that Shubetskis has been able to cover the line more or less, so Ozolinj may want to surprise his rival somewhere. All laps are completed. Šubeckis, Ozoliņš and Mištautas still all together. And that violet car on the background was Janis Hans, who is 1 lap down already. Halonen has set the fastest lap, despite being dead last, 14th. And now Racing has managed to shake off all his 4 rivals. Meanwhile, T-Max just jumped Jasiuljavičius for 6th. Cutting corner very bravely. Can Jasiuljavičius retaliate into hospital? No, he can't. T-Max stays in front. And Rudmiesis is already dropped to 8th. While leaders are now running through Sandhill. Just 1 turn and they will complete their 6th lap already. And this is from Ozoliņš car. No, it is 5 laps completed, not 6. 6th lap is on their way. And situation like that, I think is quite a good one for Ozoliņš, because Halonen is certainly out of reach for him, even being in the last position. But the main thing for Ozoliņš is to beat Racing for overall 3rd. Now Ozoliņš 2nd, Racing 4th. It means that Ozoliņš will gain 8 points. And as it stands, Racing is still 2nd overall, but only 3 points in front of Ozoliņš. So it's really, really tight. But top 3, they are still almost together. Mištautas lost out a little bit between Film Studio and Motor Museum, but not too much. And Racing in 4th has been much slower than those in front. He's more than 7 seconds behind leading trio, so no hope for him to catch those in front. But now it seems that Mištautas is a little bit more dangerous for Ozoliņš than Ozoliņš for Šubeckis. Of course, those gaps are just fluctuating by a 10th or 2 here and there over the tunnel and onto the long back straight, then towards hospital, and then another straight towards Film Studio. Actually, the Film Studio turn being quite a long and flowing one, but it's much slower than it seems from the outside. On the other hand, this is now Uldis T-Max is the middle car in this trio, behind Jasiuljavičius and in front of Rudmiesis, and Skirman is closing in, but still being 4 seconds behind, so little hope for him to catch them. And Rudmiesis looks very racy. T-Max in front of him. T-Max car was very bent on the left side, was involved in several collisions during the opening laps, but speed is still good. And another fastest lap from Halonen. Can he catch Hans at least for 13th position? Oh, maybe. 1 lap ago. Yeah, Halonen was 1.5 seconds faster than Hans. So with 8 minutes to go, it is still possible. We will see. But if Hans stays on the track and makes no mistake, then he can stay in front of Halonen. But Rudmiesist is still harassing Timax for 7th, 2 Latvians in white cars. Timax one is plain white, Rudmiesist has some sponsor logos on it. They both have more or less the same speed as well. Meanwhile, Jasiliavicius is now about 10 car lengths in front of this battling duo. Here he goes. And you see how wide line Rudmiesist takes into turn 2. But looking at this picture, I would say that he didn't benefit from it. Of course, you can get a better exit from turn 2 onto the long full throttle stretch, but in this occasion it didn't help him. And racing now almost 8 seconds behind top 3, but on the other hand 2.5 seconds, and this is Latosa. No, it was Hans. It was Hans in that violet car who was just lapped by racing, and another violet car behind that first one. That was Latosa in 5th. So yes, there is some confusion. Janis Hans still in 13th or penultimate position. And top 3 is falling apart as well. Shubetskis is now more than second, has more than second in hand over Ozolinsh, or has he? They still have almost the same pace, but yes, gaps are a little bit wider now, just a little bit over 1 second with 5.5 minutes to go. Shubetskis has led this race almost, I would say, from turn 2 on the opening lap. And even if Ozolinsh was able to challenge him for a few times, Shubetskis has stayed in front. Exactly 5 minutes to go. And it will mean perhaps that 4 more laps. And comparing lap times, Ozolinsh has been much faster recently. It may be that Shubetskis made some mistake, but the fact remains that Ozolinsh has closed in once again and keeping pressure on Shubetskis is perhaps the only weapon he has currently in his hands. It's quite difficult to find an overtaking spot, but what happens here? Ozolinsh was in front for a few seconds, but couldn't keep the position. But something is certainly wrong with Shubetskis. He has lost his speed. Maybe we didn't see it, but maybe he made a mistake over the tunnel, and it means that you will lose your straight line speed for the next straight. And here comes Ozolinsh once again, and now he's on the inside. And So what happened to Shubetskis? He disappeared. Whoa, that is lagging, and Shubetskis disappeared, and when he reappeared, he hit another car of Ozolinsh, and it is really huge blow for Ozolinsh because Raisin is now in second behind Ozolinsh. What happened actually here? If the result will be as it stands, Ozolinsh earns 40 points, Raisin in second gets 30. That was really strange. Anyway, Latosa is now third. Latosa should be second violet car in this group of three. Yes, he is. And Janis Hans, who was that first one, he was lapped, so he gave way to Latosa. But where is Halonen? Halonen is still 4.5 seconds behind Hans. So maybe he's not able to catch Latvian. We will see. Anyway, Racing is now second. With only 2 minutes to go, there is no chance for him to catch Ozolins, who is leading. And here comes the leader. Just 2 laps for him to go. Penultimate lap is under his car. Here comes Racing and Latosa. Latosa has been quite fast over last few laps, but not fast enough to put Racing under pressure. But Timax and Jasiuljavicius in front of him, they have everything to battle for. Actually, they are battling for P4. Jasiuljavicius is in front yet, but Timax dives to the inside into hospital. Can he keep his position? They're side by side approaching film studio and 3 cars behind them. And this is Rudmiesis who went wide there. But Ozolins is coming here while Timax is still following Jasiuljavicius. There was no passing maneuver, even if Timax was in front by a few meters for a few seconds. And final lap is underway. Final lap is underway, and now Halonen is in front of Hans. And it is very important for him, who is also Lynch and Racing, his closest competitors in point standings being first and second. Every position is important for Halonen. But this is for P4. Halonen has no need to be involved into this. And Hans as well. But Halonen will unlap himself. Meanwhile, Timax and Jasiuljavicius bang doors on the backstretch, but Jasiuljavicius is now on the inside, entering film studio, runs wide. Can Timax use it for his advantage? Meanwhile, Ozolins should be already over the finish line. Yes, and Karlis Ozolins has won race 1 for pros. Romet Racing second. Ovidius Latosa third. Uldis Timax will be fourth in front of Mantas Jasiuljavicius. Kaspars Rudmiesis will be sixth, and so on and so on. And Tuomas Halonen was 12th, 1 lap down after that crash in the opening stages of that race. And for 12th position, he takes 13 points. And it means that while he was 54 points in front of Racing before the start, now there is 17 points less. So yes, there is still mathematical chance for both Racing and Ozolins to take the overall victory. But we will see. Race 2 will start it in few minutes. top 10 from race 1 finish will be reversed for the grid. And Tuomas Halonen, meanwhile, he will start from 12th. And Oso Lynch and Racing will be just a few boxes in front of him on the grid. Now, a few minutes break in our comments. Stay with us. Race 2 for E-BaTCC Pros will start in approximately 4 or 5 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to E-BaTCC channel for our Pro Race 2. Those who watch Race 1, there was a lot of action, maybe unwanted action for some drivers. For example, Richard Shubetskis, who was leading the race. He got some huge lag, basically disappeared from the track and then reappeared and hit one of his competitors out of the final turn. So they both lost lots of positions, and Oso Lynch, Karlis Oso Lynch in front of Romet Reisin was the winner, and points leader Tuomas Halonen had his own troubles in the beginning of the race. He finished only 12th. He's still points leader in front of Reisin and Halonen, but the gaps are much narrower now. Still, Halonen starts from P12, Oso Lynch from P10 and Reisin from P9, so they are quite closely together. Now, lights are going on. Nikolai Zhuralyov and Matis Mesraks from row 1. And here we go. So Zhuralyov seems to be in front, and where are our 3 points leaders? Somewhere there. Don't be confused, there are several cars with exactly the same livery. Actually, it's very difficult not to be confused. So who is going to be leader after first 2 or 3 turns? Žuravljev on the inside, Mežaks on the outside, and Isidorius Paukštys in third. Directly behind them now, first time over the tunnel. It's crucial place, and Paukštys went wide, and crucially it was Reisin who went wide as well. Anžuļevičius actually spun there, but Reisin is now down in 13th, and it may decide the outcome for second place overall. Meanwhile, Žuravljev is back in lead. Mežaks has lost 1 place to Paukštys. But of course, it's 20-minute race, so it is possible. And here is Uldis Timak spinning. And it means that Reisin is now back in 12th already, and Žuravljev as a leader will complete his lap 1, and he has almost 2 seconds in hand over Paukštys. Then Mežaks is further second behind. Kaspars Rutvies is in 5th, is attacking Latosa for 4th. Karlis Tirmanis is in 6th there, having now contact with Halonen, and Halonen has tried to go between 2 Latvians in front of him. Skirmanis on that bright yellow and black car, and Ozoliņš in front of him already. So Ozoliņš is in 6th, 5th already. Halonen meanwhile in 8th, just in front of Reisin. So Reisin has gained several positions during that few turns of lap 2. This is view from Reisin's car. Halonen just in front of him. But more important for Reisin is, of course, Ozoliņš. He is a little bit further down the track. Now, ooh, that's a risky move. That's a risky move which Halonen just tried to make. And he lost at least 1 position, and Reisin was even more involved in that, and Reisin dropped to 10th. So he was the real loser in that situation. And that is Jasjuļevičius, who is banging doors with Reisin, and Mistautas went by already, and Jasjuļevičius went by as well. So Reisin dropped from P8 to P11 in space of a few turns. That's no good to his chances, because Ozoliņš is 4th already. I can't tell you exactly what the points gap was between them, but it was less than 10 points. So currently Reisin in 10th will earn 15 points, and Ozoliņš in 4th 22 points. So it looks good for Ozoliņš as it stands. But let's see, 16 minutes still to go. And lots of things can happen during that time. For example, this man, Tuomas Halonen, points leader before this round 5. Ovidius Latosa and Karlis Tirmanis just a few meters in front of him. But one thing is to be faster, and Halonen certainly is faster than Latosa and Skirmanis, but completely different thing is to overtake your rivals. Over the tunnel they go. Halonen was a little bit wide, but not too much. At least he didn't lose any time. Reisin is now back in 10th, in front of Jasjuļevičius. And Mežaks has caught Paukštys. Žuravljev is 1 in front. then BaTCC and Mežaks fighting for second. Then Ozolins in fourth. Nobody in front of him, nobody behind him. But this was now Skirmanis overtaking Latosa, and Halonen tries to follow him. Meanwhile being under attack from Mistautas himself, and Reisin closing in rapidly from behind. And now Halonen goes to the inside of turn 2, trying to overtake Skirmanis. Can he? He's on the inside for the next turn. Yes, Halonen has overtaken Skirmanis. He's now 7th, Skirmanis 8th, and just a few car lengths in front of Halonen, that is Latosa. Meanwhile, this is battle for second, side by side, Mežaks and BaTCC. Mežaks in that more colorful car. Both are mainly black. And Reisin is now already against Skirmanis, who has dropped to 9th. There's a group of 4 cars trying to negotiate Motor Museum, and somehow they did it quite successfully. And Ozolins is now together with Mežaks and BaTCC, so Ozolins is going to take P2, but this is Halonen closing in. He is now side by side with Latosa, who everything is happening in the same time. Halonen goes onto the outside. And can he pass the Lithuanian? Not yet. Meanwhile, Ozolins is already in third. Well, side by side over the tunnel. Halonen thinks better about it. Seems to be a wise move from him. Meanwhile, Ozolins is already in third and closing into Mežaks. Mežaks is actually quite fast. He can be very fast, but what we have seen, he makes usually many mistakes. So let's see, Žuravlov is probably gone for Mežaks and even for Ozolins. And now Latosa goes very wide through Motor Museum. And Halonen is already catching Rutmiesis. Meanwhile, this is Reisin against Latosa. Going to the inside, having much better top speed. Can they? No, they are not going to be side by side. And Latosa stays in front of Reisin, but then runs wide into turn 2. And does it give chance to Reisin? Certainly there is a chance, but Latosa is still in front. Now over the tunnel. Both have more or less the same speed. And every gained position is very important now for Reisin. Perhaps he can't break Ozolins from taking second overall, but at least he must try. This is Halonen against Mistautas. In front of him, but can't shake off Lithuanian. So Mistautas has almost the same pace as Halonen in front of him, and BaTCC in 5th is almost 4 seconds in front of Halonen, so it will be very hard work for Halonen in the second half of that race to catch BaTCC in 5th. Meanwhile, Ozolins is now second, already in front of Mežaks, and simply driving away from his compatriot, but Žuravlov is far away, 4.5 seconds in front of Ozolinsh. So now the big question is that if Ozolinsh, and this is racing going very wide over tunnel, hitting barrier on the right side. His car perhaps sustained some damage, so it seems that second place overall is now lost for racing, unless this man, Carlis Ozolinsh, in second makes some huge mistake. And Halonen, meanwhile, in sixth, may feel more or less safe as well. Of course, finishing 12th and 6th for the points leader during the final round. It's not a nice result, but still you have to gather the points and make result. Racing is now down in 9th, but Halonen is certainly closing the gap to BaTCC in front of him. It was almost 4 seconds, just one lap to go. Now it is 2.8. And here is Halonen, and he can see another black car in front of him. That is BaTCC, who in order is just in turn is just 1 second behind Rudmiesis. So Halonen still has not chances, not only for P5, but maybe even 4 or maybe even 3. We will see. Yes, almost 8 minutes to go. And Zhuravlyov, who started from pole, maybe he lost his lead for a few moments during the start, but after that he has been in front. Actually, no one can see him, and fastest lap from Halonen. Here is Zhuravlyov, and there was Ozolinsh on the background. You can barely see the Russian in lead. And third place, Mezhaks is surprisingly close to Ozolinsh. So Mezhaks has maintained his pace, has made no mistakes. Of course, third will be very useful for him as well, because Mezhaks was 4th in point standings before final round. Of course, he's not going to catch Ozolinsh or Raisin, but being 4th is also a good result. Halonen now only 1.5 seconds behind BaTCC and closing in all the time. So it will be interesting, maybe already on the next lap. Let's see what lap times are going to tell us. Basically, Halonen is more than 1 second per lap faster than BaTCC in front of him, and BaTCC now made a little mistake under braking into turn 2. There was a puff of smoke, nothing serious, but Halonen is coming. BaTCC must see the Finn closing in from his mirror already. And the question, of course, is, can Halonen overtake his Lithuanian rival? And not only overtake, but he must do it very quickly, then there will be a possibility to catch Rudmiesis and maybe even Mezhaks in next 5 minutes, which are remaining until the finish. Meanwhile, Ozolinsh has taken back maybe half a second from leader Zhuravlyov, but there is no change. And now BaTCC and Halonen are on the main straight together. Halonen had much better exit from the final turn. Is he going to pass the Lithuanian? Not yet. Very different lines. Halonen had a very late apex, but didn't gain actually anything. Now they're side by side already. And who is going to, again, Halonen lifted a little bit before tunnel and went safe. Now hospital. BaTCC is covering the inside, giving no chance to Halonen, but Halonen again had much better exit. Meanwhile, Mistautas is closing in, so there can be a three-horse battle, but no, Halonen goes by. Even before the film studio, can he keep his position? Yes, he can. And on the background, you can see that there is another battle between Mistautas and BaTCC. Halonen is now established himself in fifth, and Rudmies is. You see what happened during that battle, and Halonen goes very wide out of final turn. Is he going to lose his position? Yes, he is. Mistautas goes by, and BaTCC couldn't, so Halonen is back in P6, now in P7 even. So he was much too fast through final turn when went onto the cross, and he was really happy not to hit the curb on the pit entry. So this was perhaps a crucial moment for Halonen. Fourth and maybe even third where possible. Now they are certainly not, with only 2.5 minutes to go. Halonen back in sixth. And those in front, actually, yeah, Mistautas is just in front of him, but Rudmies is in fourth, is more than 4 seconds down the road. Meanwhile, Zhuravlyov is going to complete his 13th lap, and Captain Ozolinch has dropped to less than 4 seconds, but it is still huge, with only 2 laps to go. And now Halonen behind Mistautas once again, trying to find a gap in Lithuanian's armor, and he found it, just exiting turn 2, and Halonen is back in fifth. The only thing is now not to make any silly mistakes. It has not been certainly the best day for Halonen. Meanwhile, Mistautas got a better exit from tunnel. Can Halonen keep his position? Yes, he can. He blocks Lithuanians' possible overtaking maneuver, but they are still together. Halonen being in front of Mistautas by just half a car length. But Rudmies is in front of Halonen. He's safe, I would assume, with a gap more than 4 seconds. Now the main task for Halonen is to shake off Mistautas as they are starting their final lap. Zhuravlyov, Ozolinch, Mežaks, Rudmies is Halonen, Mistautas is top 6. And it seems that at least Zhuravlyov and Ozolinch, they are now safe. And here comes the leader, Nikolai Zhuravlyov, Russian driver, actually BaTCC 2013 champion in real world in Super 1600, but here he's going to win this race. But racing is now all over Timox for P9. Just half a lap to go. Can Estonian driver beat his Latvian rival? And Racing jumps out of Timox, wake into hospital. They got a slide. There was perhaps a little touch, but no swap of positions. Meanwhile, Zhuravlyov has just one corner to go. Now he's on the main straight, and Nikolai Zhuravlyov from Russia will win race 2 for E-BaTCC Pros. Karlis Osolins is second, and Mattis Mezaks will be third. Kaspar Srudmees is fourth, and Tuomas Alonen takes fifth place. And although I have not made calculations, I'm sure he took the overall victory as well in front of Karlis Osolins and Roman Reisin. Of course, it needs confirmation. All those results are preliminary. Maybe there will be some protests or penalties or whatever. But that it is. Our E-BaTCC season 3 is over with 2 classes, 5 rounds. We have 2 champions, Jan Nimts in BMWs and Tuomas Salonen in pros. They drove mainly Cupra Leon competitions. Anyway, if you pay attention, both titles went off the Baltic states to Germany in BMWs and to Finland in the pros. Anyway, thank you for watching our broadcasts. They were brought to you by Thomas Vabamäe as a commentator and Alex Cochrane as a director. Have a good winter, good Christmas, New Year, and all good for you. So, good evening. Thank you. Bye.